Boom. All right, what's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about the pretty staggering correction that a few of our favorite names in the crypto sector took earlier today. But as I'm sure most of you can assume based on the title of this video, I am not worried. I personally view the correction that we saw today as an opportunity to beef up my positions at a discounted rate. So we will talk about why that is, which of course entails talking some upside price targets as well. So let's get into it, you guys. As always, we'll quickly go over the topics we'll be discussing and then we'll dive on in. In front of us, TradingView, where we'll talk technicals and price targets on the following names today in this order. Going down the watch, so you can see right here, kicking it off now with Bitcoin. We usually talk Bitcoin in these, but I'm saving the Bitcoin and crypto analyses for tomorrow's video. Talking strictly equities today. We are kicking it off with the OG, the GOAT, in my opinion. That is Riot Blockchain, or Riot. Very validating. Feels very good if you guys have been tuning in to see Riot outperforming the majority of this sector today. In after hours, it's looking good as well. So you love to see that. After Riot, we will talk Mara. These are the only two miners we're talking today. So Riot Blockchain and Marathon Digital. And then we'll close it out and spend a decent amount of time talking some news and earnings as well around Coinbase. So we will take a look at Coinbase on the charts, but I definitely want to go over Coinbase's earnings with you guys in this video and just give you guys my thoughts on Coinbase's earnings, but also tie that in to kind of the macro environment surrounding crypto at this moment in time. Okay, so those are the three names we are going to be looking at on the charts, keeping it simple. To kick off the video, before anything else, following the intro at least, we are going to be reading through this. I want to read to you guys the intro to the newsletter that I sent out this morning, talk a little bit about the CPI numbers and the inflation report that came out earlier today, because that has a very significant impact on not only cryptocurrencies, but the entirety of the financial market. So we'll read through this a little bit, just catch you guys up on kind of what's going on in the macro to tie that in, to set that fundamental base layer for the technical argument and for, again, just the crypto focused argument that we're going to get into. Not argument, but just conversation. So we'll kick it off with this. After we read this, we will look at Riot and Mara on the charts. I'll talk to you guys about price action before getting into Coinbase and the earnings, because I know that's what you guys want to see. You want to talk some miners. So we'll take a look at Riot and Mara on the charts after reading through this bad boy. And then after Riot and Mara, we will take a look at an article covering Coinbase's earnings, get into a few of the numbers. We're not going to spend too much time on this just because I want to share with you guys not the numbers, but more the outlook and the forward-looking statements that were made here by the Coinbase executives, and why I think Coinbase is still an extremely undervalued company. So we'll cover this, and then I actually want to read to you guys the excerpt in part 2 of the newsletter that I sent out this morning talking about Coinbase, so I can give you guys kind of my refined thoughts before diving into the charts. Okay, so let's read through this bad boy. Before we do, I will ask you guys to please give the video a like. If you also took advantage of the pullback we saw today, if you remain bullish on the names you can see here on the watch list, again, not talking BITF or btbt today. I am trading those right now, so just let you guys know that right now, but saving those for the newsletter, maybe a video in the near future. Okay, just focusing on these three. All right, anyway, let's read through this bad boy. Give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, want to catch more content like this. You know the drill. Damn, the markets are seeing quite the volatile Wednesday. The US CPI, or Consumer Price Index data, was released this morning, and as anticipated, inflation is running hotter than ever. We are going to cover a lot of inflationary news and some articles covering inflation specifics and the Fed's tapering, some specifics surrounding the Fed's tapering, which I do believe is the primary reason the markets are seeing this in tomorrow's video when we talk crypto specifically. Okay, so anyway, as anticipated, inflation running hotter than ever. October's reading saw the highest annual jump in 30 years. Insane. Although it would make sense for this data to be positive news for the markets, the Fed also covered their plans to taper bond purchases or stop printing cash, keep the money printer from going burr over the course of 2022, which I'm assuming is the primary catalyst spooking investors. Makes sense, but the response is definitely an overreaction. I mean, everyone knew this was coming. And again, if you guys follow macro at all, if you guys are on CNBC every day like I am, or Bloomberg, or whatever publication you use, jump through a few, it was very obvious that the Fed, either last month, this month, or next month, was going to announce their tapering plans. So it's kind of weird that this took the market by shock a little bit. But you know, I guess that's just the market environment we're in. as I write this, Bitcoin miners, crypto equities, EVs, and EV chargers are falling off of a cliff. There's no way to justify this price action aside from the fact that individuals who are either way too over-leveraged or way too underexperienced, or a combination of both, are the ones holding these assets. Regardless, none of the fundamentals have changed since the beginning of the week, where we kicked it off with an absolute bang. It's crazy how things have played out over the past couple of days. But again, got to be a shark in those bloody waters. And all I'm seeing is opportunity. Capital has been deployed. I'm on the offense. So again, you guys, I took this pullback as an opportunity. I'm still bullish on all the plays we're going to be talking about, and yeah, I'm excited to see how the next few days how the rest of this week plays out, how tomorrow and Friday play out, and then yeah, if they play out well, if they play out as I expected to, hopefully the month of November we see a lot more green than we have in the past couple of days. Anyway, if you guys want one of these bad boys in your email inbox every trading day during market hours, along with complete breakdown of my entire portfolio, you want to know how I'm trading every single name on this chart, you want to know my specific calls, my specific positions, how I'm structuring these in my portfolio, when I take profits, when I add onto positions on dips, check this out. First link down below, complete portfolio daily newsletter, exactly as it states. That is going to be the first link down in the description. Once again, 15 bones a month or 40 bones for every 3 months. Completely up to you. I think it's worth it, but I'm very biased. I do my best to make this worth your guys' hard-earned money. So appreciate it if you check it out. Good way to support me as well. But if you don't, no worries at all. I appreciate you watching right now. Let's dive into Riot and Mara on the chart. So Riot's closing the day down 9%. Mara down 15%. That's a staggering pullback for Miss Mara. Coinbase down 8%. Actually, yesterday after earnings and after hours, they were down as much as like 14-15%. That was crazy to watch in real time. Again, talk to you guys about why I think that's absolutely ludicrous as we dive into Coinbase. Bitfarm down 11%, and then btbt seeing a little less carnage than the rest. But it's also been a little flatter. So btbt closed the day down 5%. I will just say right off the bat, I did pick up some calls on btbt this morning and yesterday that I'm pretty bullish on. Just throwing that out there. But again, sorry we're not covering these two today. I want to just keep this kind of to the point and cover the big dogs. Okay, so Riot seeing a big pullback today. Obviously, after seeing a ripping, roaring rally over the past couple of days, Riot, along with the rest of the sector, fell off the cliff. But what I'm seeing here, you guys, and again, we'll cover Bitcoin tomorrow. I will just say right now, Bitcoin still in a series of higher highs and higher lows, even after the big sell-off that we saw over the course of the day. I'm still not worried. I think there is panic surrounding that inflationary data. But again, inflationary data, hot inflation, rapid inflation, the highest rate in 30 years. Very bullish for the inflation hedge, for the king of inflation hedges, that is Bitcoin. But again, it is that tapering news that the Fed announced as well that we will cover in tomorrow's video once again. So the tapering news where the Fed will stop printing money pretty much and raise interest rates, which is good for the dollar, good news for the dollar, and kind of bad news for everything that trades against the dollar, which is everything, especially Bitcoin because it's an inflation hedge. Again, we'll cover that more in tomorrow's video, but that is the primary fear catalyst behind this market, along with, again, over-leveraged traders and inexperienced traders and weak hands that can't really take the pain, can't really take the bloodshed. But I think a lot of over-leverage and margin calls were issued today. Okay, that's a big reason. We saw some staggering pullbacks as the market started to take a dip. We started strong, actually, but over the course of the day, definitely tapered off and kind of fell off a cliff as we were closing out the trading day. But again, took even more opportunity, was deploying capital throughout the last hour or two of the trading day. Good times. But Riot, along with Bitcoin, along with so many other players in this sector, still in a series of higher highs and higher lows. Although the pullback we saw today was staggering, it's important to remember that we're still up on the week technically, okay? So Riot still in a series of higher highs and higher lows short term. I will explain this price target as we zoom out a little bit, but short term volume is looking great. 4-hour Stokes are curling to the downside. That's not good. That doesn't really worry me in a time like this. Main thing is we're setting a series of higher highs and higher lows. If Riot does see more downside, if we do see more downside tomorrow, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if we come down to about 34.30 to test the line of resistance on this very steep short-term uptrend right here, and also revert to this previous high. So this actually perfectly coincides tomorrow. I would not be surprised if we saw tomorrow just to test the support on, once again, the short-term uptrend on top of a reversion to the mean of the short-term rally at exactly 34.20. This would not surprise me one bit. Actually, I'm kind of expecting this at this point. But if we see that, I'm going to buy even more, because once we test that area, I think it's almost inevitable. Again, Riot's earnings are coming up as well. I think they're going to crush. Mara just crushed. Mara just did very well on their earnings, but at the same time, Mara also has a very large Bitcoin balance sheet. Mara sold off most significantly when Bitcoin began to fall, and Mara is still twice the size as Riot, which is very important to keep in mind, okay? Mara, still $7 billion market cap. Maybe not after today, but Riot's $3.5 billion market cap. Mara is still twice the size as Riot, and I still can't justify that from an operational perspective. So the game of catch-up is still in play. The moves to the upside and the moves to the downside further validate that theory that I have that Riot and Mara will probably meet somewhere in the middle around here, around my price target at $55. That'll make sense as we jump into Mara too. So again, short term, maybe come down a little bit, but ultimately I do think we will begin to make our way back up because I remain bullish on Bitcoin. Volume looks great. To test this previous line of support, proven its new resistance, I think it only makes sense that we come up to test this once again if in the case that Riot does see a rally. December 1st, if we see this play out over the remainder of the month, that would take us to about 56 bucks. Conservatively, 52, 53 bucks, just when I'll probably start taking profits. But of course, I will keep you guys posted on that. From current levels, that represents about 50% of upside, over 50% of upside from where we're at now to about 36.50. So exciting times, you guys. Again, when you're talking about a couple of weeks, a few weeks, this is very, very promising price action. And I do think it's Riot's time to shine. Riot has been underperforming the majority of the sector for a while, and it doesn't deserve to because they're operational, like the progress that they're making as a company justifies price action that would suit that operational advantage. Okay, so Riot looking good. Obviously bullish on Riot. You guys know that, have been for weeks, and I remain bullish, most bullish on Riot as opposed to any other player in the sector when it comes to short-term upside, at least upside over the remainder of the month. Okay, let's talk Mara, and then we'll get into some Coinbase. So Mara, maybe Mara does see a reversal. Okay, so we reverted to kind of this mean that that Mara was floating around for a few days here as we kicked off the month, but Mara has tested kind of that, like a trend line that I think Riot will test too, but we didn't talk about that one. This one's a lot more staggering. Riot's all-time high also is $80. Mara just set a new all-time high yesterday, so that's very important to remember as well. And that is why, once again, Mara is seeing more significant pullbacks because Mara has been ripping so much harder than most players in the sector. And again, Mara, great company. Does it deserve to be 2x the market cap of Riot and like 6x the market cap of some of these other players? I don't think so, but obviously the market dictates the market, and that's all right. But again, you rip hard, you fall hard. That's the name of the game. That's physics. Okay, so I mean, I guess it's charts, but you guys get the point there. Anyway, pulling back here, Mara, it wouldn't surprise me one bit for Mara to come back here and at least test this previous line of resistance that is now acting as new support, because it has not yet tested that since it broke through it as we kicked off the month. So I think Mara will come down to at least $60, $61. Actually, over the coming day or two, if Bitcoin does continue to fall, wouldn't surprise me at all to see Mara break back into the 50s. And then again, I do think that Mara did well on earnings, but again, their earnings are tough to justify a $6.5 billion market cap when I think like Riot's earnings, even bitfarms, like some of these earnings might come close. Mara just has a very large Bitcoin reserve. That's kind of their claim to fame. But Mara, I do think we're going to slow down. I think like what happens in every other sector, what happens in the altcoin markets, what happens in the EV sector, any hype, any hyper growth sector, a player that has been doing extremely well, if it begins to slow down, if other players within the sector look more promising, people are going to take profits from the name, in this case Mara, that has been doing extremely well, take some profits, put those profits into other players within the sector, because they are, if you're investing in Mara, you're bullish on Bitcoin miners. You want to put your money in Bitcoin miners. You're going to put it into plays like Riot, bitf, btbt, etc., Coinbase even. So I do think Mara will slow down. I do think that capital will flow into other miners, and Riot right now, btbt, for full transparency, are the fastest horses in the race, in my opinion. bitf still looks good, but Mara I do think will slow down. So maybe by the end of the month, you guys, maybe by the end of this month, again, $55 is my price target for Riot. If Mara does come down, revert to the mean, where Mara was just at in mid-October, okay, that would take Mara to $55. And I do think that's where Riot and Mara are going to meet up. I'm not saying Riot's going to surpass, Mara's going to float around like $50 and then Riot's going to boost to 80. Although that's very, very possible, I don't know. But I think it's entirely possible that these two meet in the middle around $55 by the end of this month. So we'll see if that plays out. Keep in mind, you guys, this is all just my opinion. But always know my money is where my mouth is. Let's take a look at Coinbase's earnings before jumping into the charts on Coin. So I'll take a look at Coin quick, bring that up, and I'll justify that price target as we jump in. So Coinbase shares drop after third quarter revenue misses analyst estimates. Key points: Coinbase reported weaker than expected revenue for the third quarter. The number of monthly transacting users dropped from the prior period. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum hit new all-time highs this week. Pulling back now, obviously, but still hitting new all-time highs. Very, very important to remember. These things just keep breaking new ATHs. Coinbase said monthly transacting users fell from the prior period, dropping to 7.4 M from dropping to 7.4 mil from 8.8 mil in the second quarter. The number was up from $6.1 million a year earlier. Trading volume fell to 327 billion from 462 billion the previous quarter. This quote is important, okay? As our year-to-date results have clearly demonstrated, our business is volatile, just like the cryptocurrency markets. Obvious. The company said in its shareholder letter, Coinbase is not a quarter-to-quarter investment, but rather a long-term investment in the growth of crypto economy and our ability to serve users through our products and services. We encourage our investors to take this point of view. That's how most investors in this space should be. This is still young. I just heard a comparison. Where we're at in crypto now is like internet in 1998. I wish I could justify and give the specifics of that quote or that statistic because they were very valid, but I just can't remember them. But that's crazy to think, even if it's theoretical. Much of the company's success hinges on the performance of digital assets like Bitcoin. Obviously, Coinbase said in August it expected lower trading volume and monthly transacting users in the third quarter after crypto assets dipped during the summer. So let me read for you guys again. Just so I don't ramble, I'm going to read for you guys this because these are my refined takes on this earnings call, and then we'll dive into the chart to close it out, okay? So, as I'm sure you know by now, obviously, Coin disappointed investors yesterday with their earnings call. Stock fell over 10% in after hours and had a pop this morning, closed the day around 10% as well in the wake of the crypto market's current sell-off. Regarding the report, it was so obvious that Q3 numbers were going to be down. I mean, look at the volume on the top 10 cryptos on the exchange, and you'll have a pretty good idea of what their revenue looks like. So again, just go to CoinMarketCap, look at the top 10, go on TradingView. Look at the top 10. Even just look at the volume on Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's obviously down over the course of the summer. Summer slowdown. That's classic in growth markets. The less transactions that are made, the less volume that there is, the less revenue Coinbase is going to generate. That's why right now, volume is picking up. Volume is picking up across the markets. All-time highs are attracting eyeballs. People are getting back in there. The winter months, historically strong for growth sectors. Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, king of growth sectors, king of the growth markets. And it's just so obvious to me that Q4 is going to be great. So their forward-looking statements and projections were still promising as expected, and I feel it's straight up whack that so much capital fled the stock following their announcement. They're making tangible progress as a company, and with the way things are moving, it seems pretty obvious. Once again, using the word obvious a lot, but I feel this is just so obvious if you understand crypto markets 101. Q4 will be a huge quarter for them, just as it typically is for crypto. That is the nature of cyclical markets. I still believe Coinbase is a $1 trillion plus company of the future, and I'm holding it until we see it, okay? So, holding on to Coinbase, I stand by that firmly. That's, if not in 5-10 years max, Coinbase will be a $1 trillion company, definitely with inflation at play. So Coinbase, definitely a $1 trillion company from these levels. That's over 10x. What is that, like a 12, 15x? $70 billion, so you do the math there. 14, 15x on Coinbase. And, I mean, it just seems, using the word obvious a lot, that seems egotistical, it seems pretentious. But this just seems obvious. Like, their forward-looking statements were great. That's what I thought investors would be looking for. Again, they're launching an NFT exchange. That's going to be huge to compete with OpenSea, who they're already an investor in, which is great. I mean, they just launched a podcast, or they're popping up at like NFT Week in New York, Complex Con in LA. They're so culturally relevant. They're such a massive company, and they're, in my opinion, the most important company in the world when it comes to crypto at this point in time. Maybe the most important company in the world in general. Because crypto is one of the most transformational technologies over the next few years, okay? So Coinbase, again, saw quite the retreat today from the high that it set in yesterday. Not the all-time high, but the highest it's been since its IPO back in April, which will come into play when we talk price targets as well. So Coinbase, if it does slow down, again, there is some fear in the air right now. Investors are obviously a little hesitant about what surrounding what's going on with the Fed, with tapering, with inflation, just in general, people are confused, and that's okay. But as the dust settles, as rationale sets back in, I think even if we come down a little bit, float sideways for a while, I do think Coinbase will definitely, at the very least, at the very latest, I should say, by the end of this month, come back up to test this line of resistance right here on this previous channel. You can see Coinbase tested a couple times, actually broke above it, but barely, like only spent a little bit of time, like a couple of hours above this line of resistance. I do think, once again, at the very latest, this will come into play once again. We will go from current levels at about $330 to $390. That represents about an 18.5% move to the upside. But in all honesty, at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised, again, once rationale sits back in, once investors are like, oh, duh, Q3 was going to be slow. Coinbase is still a rapidly growing company, and Q4 is looking great. So in that case, I do think Coinbase can reach its the high that it's set, its all-time high that it set back in April on its on the day of its IPO, on, I guess, whenever that is, whether it's late November, whether it's early December, whether it's the end of the year even, because Coinbase is a big company. It's not going to move as fast as some of these small caps because it is a $70 billion company. This is still entirely possible. I would not be surprised at all to see this. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a $500 Coinbase, if I'm being honest. So, end of year price target. End of month price target, if I wouldn't be surprised. End of month price target, I'll say, is at least $390. End of year price target is going to be at least $430. At least that's my personal opinion on it, okay? So let me know down below what you guys think about Coinbase, what you guys think about Riot and Mar. Once again, let me know if you guys took advantage of the dip that we saw today. Again, if you're still watching, you're greatly appreciated. Throw 100 down in the comments below. I'll give you a heart. You made it all the way through. Again, if for some reason you're not subscribed or you're still watching, definitely subscribe. And yeah, I'll just catch you guys downstairs in the comments. Of course, if you guys do want one of these bad boys in your email inbox, once again, means a lot if you guys check that out. Just helps me, and I truly do believe it helps you. So if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? That link is down below. And once again, I'll catch you in the comments down below as well. Till next time, always remember, you guys, take action. Make waves. Peace.